Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Now, I don't normally talk about stuff like this, but, however, there will be a announcement regarding the future of talking about wrestling on this channel. So, stay tuned for that. You'll know it when you see it. I'm not going to say anything yet, but I'm just saying if that's something you're interested in, I know shout out to Kyle. I know you enjoy wrestling, especially your AEW. That's all I'm going to say. If you enjoy wrestling and talking about wrestling, stay tuned for the future announcement there. So, last night on Monday Night Raw, Bobby Lashley wins the WWE Championship after 17 years. Wins his first WWE Championship, and I'm happy for him. He's a great dude. If you go watch any interviews with him, he just seems like one of the nicest, down-to-earth guys in the business, through thick and thin. He's older. I do believe he's in his 40s. So it's not like he's a young guy. He's been doing this for a while. And for him to finally get that WWE Championship is nice. Now, I will say this. I'm not exactly thrilled with how they did this. Now, let me explain what I'm talking about here. So, and first of all, The Miz, absolutely great worker, businessman. What I mean by that is not businessman, but, he's a company guy, is what I mean. He does whatever the BS garbage that Vince McMahon, and I love Vince, I do. Vince is such a big part of, my childhood and growing up and everything, as well as every other wrestling fan. But the reality is not everything is great all the time. And The Miz gets used in kind of comedy joke roles a lot of times, which is a big reason why a lot of people didn't take this role seriously with him as the WWE Champion. And I really do regret I don't regret, but the WWE should regret not making him a main event superstar champion role in the 2016-2015 Talking Smack with Daniel Bryan era. That's when they should have pulled the trigger. But regardless, I was one of the people who was really, really happy that he got the championship in the first place, because the last time he got it, I was 8. And it's like, for me, watching him get it again, it kind of sparked a tension, you know what I mean? Like, it sparked that fire that, man, I want to watch Raw again. And a lot of times, I didn't care, I haven't watched the product very, consistently for a while. But, watching The Miz cash in, it gave me some excitement. And, I think he deserved a better run. And that's why I'm talking about this. I think I'm upset how the WWE did this, because I think there was a much better way to take the strap off The Miz, give it to Bobby in big, legit fashion. So if you didn't watch Monday Night Raw, basically the whole show was surrounded by the fact that The Miz had to pay up on his bet, or not bet, but deal, I guess you could say, with MVP, so he could cash in and win the championship. The whole show was surrounded by that, and he needed to live up to the bet. Last week, or to the deal. I keep saying bet, to the deal. Last week, basically it was revealing, why did Bobby Lashley attack Drew McIntyre, and you have this episode where they announce the championship match, and there's a lot of speculation. Okay, what's going to happen here? There's a lot of people are saying no. It's going to be some sort of screwy finish. They're not going to actually have him drop the title on Raw, but they did. And basically, what happened was all night. First of all, they started off 9 o'clock, and then that didn't happen. And then 10 o'clock, and then they faked a stomach problem. And then 11 or whatever, the end of the show, the main event, was when it actually happened. And they had I forget what you call it. It literally just happened. I can't remember. Lumberjack match. That's what it is. So, which is fine. I liked the idea that they did. I liked the story. It was okay. But I think they could have done this in a much better fashion that makes Bobby Lashley's championship win feel more important. Um, and if it was up to me, Miz would have carried the title into WrestleMania because it's heat, and that's what the wrestling business is about. You can hate the Miz all you want, but he gets heat. He gets your attention. So why do you think the reaction was so negative when he won? It's because he's good at his job. He's a heel. But I would roll with the idea they have, right? You have the Miz be this Weasley, get out of the championship, find ways to keep it. I liked what they did there. I would have kept the idea of, hey, we're going to have this match and whatnot. And, the way they did it was fine, especially with him. I liked the idea of, hey, okay, we'll have it. And then he takes the title and just runs away. Because technically, he defended it. Now, obviously, that's not legit, but for his character, that is the perfect way to kind of get out of having him drop the title so soon. So what I would have done is I would have had that same thing happen where Miz comes out at 10. I wouldn't go 9. I would have a story building up to it. 10 o'clock, bam, have everybody think this is the time. So then he runs away, right? From there, I would go with the same thing that they kind of did with Bobby coming back, talking to Shane, all ticked off. But here's what I would do. Here's how you make Bobby Lashley just look like a monster, because he's supposed to be a heel. He's kind of in between right now. I think among the fans he's a babyface, but it's so hard to tell with the fake crowd noise and whatnot. But I would stick with that. I'd have Miz run off. But here's what I would do. I would cut to the back and have a vehicle of some sort, and Miz jumps in the back and drives off. Then it turns out that was John Morrison driving off. So then you can tell the story of he defended the championship and he's out, right? Instead of what they did of he sticks around, because that makes no sense. I mean, if you have this killer and the whole point is you're supposed to be afraid of him, why would you, just leave? So that's what I would do. I would have it cutscene. Miz runs, jumps in the back. He can sell the fact that he's terrified, whatever. They leave. I would have Bobby then continue to, I'd have him storm in the back, be mad at Shane, and then say, if you can't fix this, then I'm going to tear through your entire roster. From there, I would have Bobby literally attack almost everybody. Like backstage, so-and-so comes walking up, throws him into the wall, beats him up. And then from there, you can have, throughout the night, or the rest of the show, you can have these scenes of, Bobby just destroying people. And that gives him some sort of credibility that, hey, this is somebody you don't want to mess with. He's tearing through everybody. And then that makes Bobby look just like such a big monster, and it fits the Miz perfectly. Hey, I defended it. Why did I need to stick around? And then what you do is you keep this storyline going and you go into Fastlane. Have Bobby win the WWE Championship on the first pay-per-view of the Peacock era. WWE just signed this big deal with Peacock to move everything from the network over there. Why not? Because now you're just going to have a boring pay-per-view. Bobby's not going to lose the title. Roman's not. I don't know what's going on there. But it doesn't make sense. Like, to me, what they did was fine. But it could have been so much better. And the more and more and there's a certain level that you got to cut it off, but the more and more you make Miz dodge all of these bullets and keep living to fight another day, the more and more the fans hate him. The more and more they want it off of him. So if you're pushing Bobby to be this dominant force of nature, what a perfect way than have the Miz get as much heat as possible. So when Bobby destroys him, everybody loves it, right? So, and I tell you what, that to me, if you went by what my plan would be, I would have that Sheamus McIntyre match main event. If you're gonna put it on free TV, it doesn't make sense to me that match could have main evented a pay-per-view. They put on a very good match. And, this is the one thing that I agree, and I disagree with Jim Cornette on so much, but the one thing I agree on, you can't pay off these big stories on free TV. Give people a reason to tune into the pay-per-view. You don't just, opening segment of Raw, you have these two go at it. So I think if, like I said, I'm happy, that Bobby's finally champion. But to me, I think there's just there's such a better way to make it feel more legit. If you keep dragging it on, give Bobby a lot of dominating heat, I guess you could say, by tearing through the roster in the locker room. Basically, with Brock, when Brock came back in 2011 or whatever it was, and gave Cena an F5 on Raw, it was legit. Like, people, I remember genuinely being like, this guy could actually murder somebody. Like, legit fear because of how scary the person is. That's what they need to do with Bobby here. Let him be dominant. Don't just say, oh, well, all right, you're going to have the match. And then you do. And then, here he's champion. So the WWE, I think, really dropped the ball with this one. And I tell you what, I'm going to be absolutely furious if they have Lashley drop the strap at WrestleMania to Drew McIntyre. That would absolutely kill every last bit of momentum he had. They're pushing him to the moon right now, and you're going to have him drop the title immediately? Like, come on. So, and I'm not saying that my idea is so much more, so much better than what they did. Like I said, I don't care. I think, what they did was all right. But to me, I think you have such a big potential in Bobby Lashley as far as a main event dominant superstar, and you pay off. It just doesn't make sense. So, anyway, let me know your thoughts. Do you even care? Like, it's going to be interesting to see how many people watch this, because I didn't think anybody would watch my reaction when The Miz won, and that got a lot of views. So, we'll see. But like I said, pay attention later. Should have an announcement out that you might care about. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts, and we'll see you in the next video.